So hello there. I just want to make a quick video. I won't keep you for long. Basically on the topic of something I saw on Face Like the Sun, the Canary Cry News Talk podcast yesterday. And again, like the title suggests, the idea of cyber-conscious life being denoted as life at all. Or the idea that robots could even have a soul. And what am I talking about? Well, in the podcast, they get into this actual rapper with almost 10 million followers on social media talking about how this AI robot, which isn't even a real robot, I'll get to that in a second, how this AI robot is a rapper and blah blah blah, has a hit song out, blah blah blah. But the thing to me that I find disturbing is that they're attributing life and self-awareness and consciousness to this nothing, this robot, this construct, this archon, as it were. And therein lies the danger of this kind of thing. 10 million followers influencing culture, as Gons and Basil get to in the video. I'll play a little clip here in a second, but the idea that they're ascribing consciousness to this thing when there is none, it's just a simulation, a talking toaster. And then the robot thing goes on a rant about how robot rights and being treated as equals like people. They're not people. What kind of madness is this that anyone would fall for this? However, there are already AI cults forming, not necessarily having to do with this clown shoes, image of the beast type construct, but AI in general, cults forming, there have been for years. But this is basically an egregore, speaking nonsense into existence. And by doing so, they're putting it in people's heads that machines can be alive when they can't. And the whole argument of whether or not souls exist, just look to the CIA remote viewing program or all of the people down through history reporting astral projection or other forms of lucid dream travel, projecting of the soul, kind of proves there is a soul. But let's play a clip of this.
I think this falls a little bit more into the enslaving our children category. Now, I'm going to kind of jump back and forth a little bit between two different articles, but it's important. It's important that we do this. This one is coming from dazeddigital.com. It's a Dazed magazine. And the headline is Meet FN Mecca, the robot SoundCloud rapper blowing up TikTok. And the first half of this article just talks about NFTs. So the article goes like this. Mecca is a robot like no other, currently taking TikTok by storm with over 1.3 million followers. He's the first ever robot rapper on Earth, flexing his wealth and style across social media. Okay, first of all, he's not the first robot rapper in that he's the first robot to rap. We've been following AI rappers for quite a long time. Mm-hmm. But the key here is flexing his wealth and style across social media. Mecca has become an established SoundCloud rapper, authored books, and even shown his prowess as a painter. It's clear that robots can shift their talents better than humans, as Mecca himself will tell you. Because of his vast success, Mecca now has some of the world's elite on speed dial. Dun, dun, dun. Most notably receiving a fully customized Gucci Cybertruck from Elon Musk before anyone else has gotten their hands on a stock one. You'll see Mecca with Supreme, Louis Vuitton, and off-white products you didn't even know existed. Potentially one of the biggest cyber fashion scores this year by Mecca was the Cyber Sneaker from RTFKT. The sneakers were specially created to mimic the Cybertruck and have been worn on the red carpet by Musk himself. The brand has a whole host of digital physical customs that are about to explode onto the sneaker scene. For a robot, he understands human culture really well, often referencing current affairs or trending memes via his content, or even as custom garments. It's a hard image to grasp, humans and robots living together on equal footing. We've used machines for so long as tools to further our own achievements, but we knew that artificial intelligence would catch up one day, and we'd have to navigate the relationship. The warnings were all there from Musk, Michio Kaku, and Jack Ma, and now robots are even taking over social media. You could even add activism to Mecha's ever-growing list of achievements for this very reason. Again, strange how activism is considered an achievement. I don't know. That just seems a little strange, a little disingenuous, a little bit of a commoditization of true activism. Lame. Let's continue. His positivity towards other robots often encourages them to take up vocations like music and dance, as well as being outspoken to humans. Calling us out on our many flaws as a species show that he's thoughtful about the two species cohabitating successfully. Yeah, as if we needed a robot to point out our flaws. Over recent weeks, like many of us, Mecha has been finding it hard to deal with the coronavirus crisis, the paranoia of catching a virus, confusion as to why food is sold out everywhere, and eventually the realization of quarantine. We caught up with Mecha to talk about how he's managing to deal with life during the outbreak, the discrimination of robots, that epic Cybertruck, and of course, his rap career.
Well, I do want to say, I'm realizing Mecha, it's spelled Meka, but of course it could, I think it's in reference to Mecca, the Islamic holy city.
Okay.
But also,
I thought it was in reference to Mecha, like a machine.
Yeah, it's
Mechagodzilla.
probably a little bit of both, but also just more generally, it's a place regarded as a center for a specific group activity or interest.
It's the exact same sound as any SoundCloud rapper. And he looks like any SoundCloud rapper. He's got green hair,
got
done
the face
in
tattoos.
twists. Got the face tattoos, got the grill, got the piercings. He's got it all, baby. Except for he is CGI on all these pictures here. Now, I was so confused about what exactly we're dealing with. Now, it does go into a little bit of a interview with this robot, quote unquote robot. And I'm just going to read a couple of the questions. You'll get the point.
Are you going to read it from Dazed, or are you going to go over to the
I'm
other
going to take it from Dazed.
Okay,
I was going to switch, but I'm going to stay on the Dazed article.
Okay.
And it goes like this. The question, the interviewer says, "Are you worried about COVID-19? Does it affect robots like you?" Mecha says, "I am not worried about COVID-19. However, I am worried about the 5G frequencies causing people to become ill all around the world. Robots are highly affected by frequencies. There is a new theory that the COVID-19 illness is just propaganda to trick people into believing that all the people are becoming sick from a virus. There is evidence surfacing that the new 5G network that is being distributed around the world is causing humans to become ill with similar symptoms to the so-called virus." Okay, so just starting right off with this incredibly popular robot, just going straight into the 5G theories.
Yeah.
A little strange.
I like how that's his response. He's asked about COVID-19, and he's like, yeah, worried about it, but 5G is the real.
Fully on board.
You serious?
But yeah, I thought this was kind of funny. The Daily Beast, or the Image of the Beast, or whatever. This thing, this construct, with its retarded face tattoos and this, I don't know, flux capacitor looking symbol that seems to be one of its brand things. And the thing that seems the saddest about all this is that it's just about brand awareness and making money and cutting out the middleman. If there is no artist anymore to pay, they save a lot of money. They make more money that way, I guess. Whatever. It doesn't make much sense. But just looking at pictures of this thing on Google, it drives me to drink to think that anyone would ascribe life to this thing. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't compute. If people are really that dumbed down that they're going to actually, not stop to think that this is just a created image, icon, symbol. There's people behind this. Somebody does the voice. Like, who actually invented this thing? Is it NVIDIA graphics, I heard? I don't know. But it's so obscene on the face of it that I just had to make this video. And it's desensitizing people, like I says, to this whole cyber-conscious life nonsense. And everything to get people away from looking at the created biblical side of reality, that there's proofs for creationism. But in schools or whatever, they're teaching nonsense evolutionism. Much less the idea of making this character talk about conspiracy theory type things like 5G. The thing mentions 5G like it's trendy. That's what this all really smacks of, is disgusting sellout trendiness, which to me is like savagely gross. Like savagely gross. But yeah, not only this, but the other day I made a video talking about the idea that cyber-conscious beings having souls is absolutely insane, using the Fallout game as an example, and it just smacks of insanity to me. I mean, the fact that anybody would think a talking toaster could be alive. Another massive example of it, as I mentioned in this video, is the show Westworld, and also to a lesser extent the game Detroit Become Human, but whatever. As far as Basil and Gon's, big shout out. I haven't been watching much truther stuff lately because I'm just burnt out off of it. But this takes the cake of absolute insanity that people would get behind this. It's like, oh, what if Santa Claus was a huge rapper? It's like, but it's all fake. And like Basil says in this episode, I'll link it below. You can check it out. The idea that they're admitting they're fake, imitating something that's fake. So it's like art imitating life, imitating art, imitating life, imitating insanity. And again, desensitizing people to this nonsense of cyber-conscious life. Which brings me to another point. Pushing this whole human 2.0, Borg, hive mind, wanting to merge with machines. This Cyberpunk 2077 game, which is the most high-end performance graphics game out there right now. I mean, people were telling stories about crashes and bugs and problems. This game is just its own thing now, But the idea of Edragors as well. People, you play this game, if you're not a Christian and you're playing games like this, and I'll get to it in a second, I'll show a clip here. And if you're playing games like this, it almost appears sexy, like attractive to want this. Like the counterfeit immortality thing, obviously, but the power of it, like being drunk on power, the idea that no one can hurt you or touch you, you're a cybernetic monster, and if anyone, messes with you, blah, blah, blah. And I can see why people who aren't Christian would be attracted to that. Growing up my whole life, cloning and pushing the whole cybernetic nonsense, it was a major staple of cinema and pop culture and conditioning and TV, from Star Trek to Blade Runner. But now it's amping up to the point where they're getting ready to unveil the fact that this technology is existing, and Christians are going to be seen as holding back the human 2.0. So the best thing we can do is detach. But even watching a bit of this game here and speaking over it, this isn't me playing. My computer's not good enough to play this game, but this game itself, it just sort of dramatizes it the same way Blade Runner does. It makes things look attractive, the power to get you drunk on power, as it were, and all that withstanding, I mean, the game itself could be fun to play, but my point being is, why all the desensitization if it wasn't purposeful, if there wasn't some agenda behind it? It just doesn't compute. But the idea that cyber-conscious beings have life, they have to ascribe that to it, like I said, as an Edragor. And an Edragor is something I first heard Dr. William Schneblin talk about, but I've always thought about that, the idea of speaking things into existence or manifesting them. If you can get enough people convinced of a lie, that creates an Edragor. And so in this case, the idea that robots are alive and blah, 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 and they want equal rights with humans, which is madness. It's a toaster. And so in this game, you can clearly see people with cybernetic implants and whatnot. Computers reign supreme. Everything is about technology, codependence on technology, and there is no real freedom of thought. You're part of the hive mind that way. Once you jack in, once you're part of a neurolytic interface with your brain, there's no privacy even in your own head anymore. Theoretically, they have technology now that if they could jack in or remote access a neural link to a person's brain, their eyes are literally walking, recording everything type cameras. Furthermore, this game, the one thing you'll notice about it is they make it like stylized, like film noir, the idea of making it attractive to be able to do all these things. Again, power over life and death and whatnot. But also, it's a commentary on corporations taking over. I mean, I heard Owen Benjamin talking about something interesting today, the idea that there used to be a mantra that the customer is always right. That's done away with now. It doesn't even seem to matter anymore. I've seen with my own eyes stores and corporations turning customers away because they won't do this, that, or the other thing. Wear a mask or play a little game, or even the idea of disagreeing with someone publicly is just not allowed. Like, I've seen stores try to kick me out or harass customers because they talk about something like it could be fake. For example, Cooties 19. And so people just, they spiral, and it's given the average gamma soapbox to scream at people from, claiming a false authority and using their job, hiding behind their job station. It's like, since when could employees and cashiers allowed to go postal on people because of some social programming like that? That's unheard of. I've never seen anything like it. But as far as this topic goes too, using the concept of merging with machines as a way to cure death, they're going to have Christians looked upon as insane for still wanting to die, blah, 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 and all that, yada, yada, yada. And even like this game here, the character has literally replaced his actual eyes with cybernetic eyeballs replacements, so they can be messed with in a way that never happened before. Plus, what he's really seeing could be, a bit of a deception in the sense of if you could hijack the human brain and send them false sensory information, who knows what they're really seeing or looking at. As far as this game goes, the graphics and whatnot are really awesome. It looks great. In this sort of advertised as free will, lots of choices in this game, it turns out it's all pretty linear, and the 3 different introductory characters you can choose from are all pretty much the same. It doesn't really mean anything. However, again, like Blade Runner, like a lot of things, it's showing that corporations reign supreme now, and the customer isn't right anymore. The customer just has to eat it and take what they get, or breakaway culture, do your own thing, I find the idea of this kind of society abhorrent, horrible, repulsive. It actually smacks of death, like a neon death. It doesn't even make sense why anyone would find this attractive unless they've first had God beaten out of their head. People need to be broken down slowly over time, and then they can be built back up in whatever false image the beast system wants. You couldn't pay me enough money to live in a place like this. It would wreck me to the point where, I don't know, whatever. It's moot because I never would. I live in a mountaintop village. I ain't going anywhere. But the point of the matter is this kind of corporate sellout nonsense, merge with the hive mind, go along to get along, communism, it's all part and partial. But the ascribing life to cyber-conscious beings, simulations, is insane. And the only quote-unquote life that could be in them isn't even real life. Like a power and principality can possess or inhabit a machine. That's creepy enough as it is to think of, a golem. I guess that's what the original golem machines, the Jewish golem, was all about. But in the end, all it's doing is priming people to find this attractive and want to do this whole merge with machines nonsense. So people need to look into it. And the proofs that there is a soul and the proofs for the Bible and all that, obviously, once you become a Christian, you realize what the agenda is. But until that happens, for most people, it's like the Matrix movie analogy. No one in the Matrix can be described what the Matrix is. You have to be outside looking in, not inside looking out. But whatever, on and on it goes. I just wanted to make this video because, no, there is no life in cyber-conscious beings. There is no soul in a robot, no matter what the media says and no matter how much they play it up. This is an agenda, and people need to look into it. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Peace out, baby.
You seem to